Hello and good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning, so we are back at it. We are going to be playing a little bit of Helldivers today because I'm a little burned out on Borderlands. You know, I've been very critical of some of the things that Borderlands does wrong, and I'm tired of a few of those things. So I just need a little break from Borderlands. So we're going to go back to Helldivers for just a little bit. We need to get some major order points anyways. We haven't unlocked everything, and they're going to be releasing new stuff here soon. So, you know, I'm behind on my Helldivers content, and we can't have that. So let's play a little Helldivers. We're going to be playing some What Ifs today. Platypus is back. Welcome back. We're going to be playing some games today. We are going to be playing some Would You Rather. I feel like a lot of times when people do like the Would You Rather, it's always like terrible scenarios, and it's not like anything realistic. So I'm going to try and hit you with some realistic, normal Would You Rather situations that you could actually face in your day-to-day life. And we're going to talk about those a little bit later once everyone's here. Good morning, Bubble. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all. Happy Monday. We've got one last week of the Feast of the Archangel, so I've only got let's see, today's the 22nd, ends on the 29th, so yeah, we have officially one week, 7 days left of my fast, and then we are done fasting for a little bit. I think if I'm extra hardcore, and I don't think I can actually do this, but I think if I push myself really hard for the rest of this fast, we can lose 20 pounds, which would be about a half a pound a day, which I don't think actually, I don't think that falls into like the healthy category, but it's definitely a lot of progress made fast. So we are on the cusp of finishing that finally. Very excited for that. Let's see, what else do we got today? Let me grab, we need one last thing. We need the anti-tank emplacement. There we go. And for this, we're gonna try the coyote on bots. We've never tried the coyote on bots, so we don't really need resistance to fire. Let's try this armor. Let's try these things here. We've never tried them here. Let's try them out. Every would you rather question is, would you rather jump off the moon or would you rather fight a dinosaur? Exactly. That's exactly the problem, is that it's always these completely unrealistic scenarios. So I want to do a few that I've thought of that are actually like realistic scenarios that I feel like you could find yourself in. I think that'll be fun. I've been thinking about them for a few days. So I also, y'all be proud of me, I finally saw a quote timeless classic movie that everyone has said that I have needed to see. So I've finally seen the movie, and I gotta tell you, I'm a little disappointed in it. So I finally watched the 1980s classic The Blues Brothers, and like, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It was fun in some ways, but I have to question why so many people think that it is like this ultimate timeless classic movie that that is a must-watch, must-see, thrilling event. Like, it was okay. Like, it was good, but you know, I don't see it being like the best movie ever like people said it was. Alright, we spawned in a terrible area here. I don't have enough stims for this. I don't have a good weapon for this. Let's run out of range of this jammer and get our gear so we can actually do this right, because this is a tough fight here. This is a hard sell. So yeah, the Blues Brother was a little like there were just some, like the scene where there's the lady shows up with a bazooka, like randomly. Like, why does the lady randomly have a bazooka? Like, I don't understand where she got a bazooka or why she blew up an entire building. And like, the police are chasing the Blues Brothers because they're a menace to society. I get that. But also, like, there's a lady running around town with a bazooka who's also exploding buildings. So like, maybe you're chasing the wrong person, because I feel like you should be trying to arrest the lady running around with a bazooka and not the guys in a suit who are speeding on the streets. Like, don't get me wrong, speeding is bad and annoying also, but the lady with a bazooka is way more of a menace than them, you know? So I felt like that was kind of strange. I don't know how I feel also, you know, I always talk about how there's so many movies that are anti-Catholic. You know, Hollywood comes out with movies and they make fun of Catholics or they do really bad things. Like, the way they portrayed the Catholic nun, I feel like was not insulting to Catholics. Like, yeah, she hit them with a ruler, but I'm fairly certain anyone who went to Catholic school in, like, the 80s or 90s would have a story of getting hit by a nun, you know? So I feel like that's actually like a fairly realistic representation of at least some Catholics, you know? So I appreciate that. I guess they added that, and it wasn't overly insulting to Catholics, and like the scenario of our orphanage getting shut down because the archdiocese isn't interested in the property anymore. Like, that is a very real thing that happens. You know, it's not that they don't care about the children at the orphanage. It's just they have to run certain things, right? I had such a funny moment with my friends, and Helldivers were running away from the War Striders, and they kept shooting their grenades, making us ragdoll constantly. They have toned down the ragdolling 3 separate times. They have released patches saying that they have toned down the ragdolling, and there is still so much ragdolling. And like money and religion, people don't like to talk about it, or they feel like it's scummy. But I mean, there really is. We got a thing yesterday from the Archbishop for what they call the Archbishop Appeal, where the Archbishop says, "Hey, we need money to run the church." And I know there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, the church has enough money, but like they broke down the numbers for us because we have one of the largest, most effective, and best seminary schools for priests in our state. We have the Mount Angel Abbey, which is an absolutely beautiful place, who trains tons of wonderful priests, but it costs $60,000 a year to house, to feed, to do all the things required for the seminary school. And we have 31 seminarians, so that's just under $1,800,000 a year just for the seminaries to be able to go through preschool. And preschool takes approximately 4 years or even longer, right? So we're talking at least $2 million a year for the school costs we have, and that's just that one place alone. That's not all the other places. You know, every priest has retirement plan, has medical care. They have to pay for apartments for them. So, like, I understand why the church needs money, right? That is a huge financial burden, and we need it because we always say there's always people like, well, we need more priests. We need more priests. Okay, but who's gonna pay for it? For real, had gotten 2 bounce houses, one for small kids, one for big kids, but the big kids kept jumping on the smaller ones. He was beefing. That is a perfect analogy. That's what it feels like. What's your favorite Pokemon? That is a very hard question. My favorite Pokemon as a kid, and the card and Pokemon that I collected the most, was Mewtwo. I love Mewtwo. But I feel like you can't say that you love Mewtwo because everyone knows like he's absolutely overpowered, and I feel like saying Mewtwo's your favorite Pokemon is such a lame answer. So as a kid, I absolutely loved Mewtwo. Tuffy, welcome. I think there's a tank stuck in there's a tank stuck in there. That seems like an unfair advantage. They have a tank stuck in there. But tried and true, Bulbasaur, you know, I can't... Bulbasaur was my starter. Bulbasaur is adorable. I love me some Bulbasaur. So, Bulbasaur is definitely up there on the list as well. But as a kid, Mewtwo, I had like 6 different Mewtwo cards. I had a Japanese Mewtwo card. Mewtwo card. I had a Japanese Mewtwo card. Like, I did everything I could to have Mewtwo as much as I could. And then, like, when the movie came out, they gave us those ancient Mew cards. And those were amazing. I loved when they gave us those ancient Mew cards. I thought that was such a cool thing. You should try and find a photo of Spiel. He's my favorite, and he's so adorable. Spiel deserves to be a fan favorite. You are right. Spiel is absolutely adorable, and a perfect little dude. I can't argue with that one. I understand why Sfeel has so much. I guess you call it Sfeel appeal, I think is what they should call it. However, I will also say, like, the Ghostline, Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar, I really do enjoy those three as well. But maybe that also comes from that in the first games they felt like super overpowered, you know? There's one other random one, though. I will give you one other random Pokemon. I went through a phase when Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire came out. Was it? Yeah, when... is either Gold or Silver or Ruby and Sapphire, whichever one introduced Steel types. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been Gold and Silver that introduced Steel types. When they introduced the Steel type, as a dumb kid who doesn't understand, you know, Pokemon, and as an adult who barely understands Pokemon typing, I was obsessed with the Aggron line. Like the Aeron, and it turns into, basically it's a Nidoking but made of steel. Because for a while I loved Nidoking and Nidoqueen, but the steel Nidoking was such a cool Pokemon that I was obsessed with. I had a party of 6 level 99 Agrons. Like, I was that trainer. I was like, I love this Pokemon, so I'm just going to throw 6 of them on a team. He's absolutely unstoppable. So, for a while, that Pokemon I was absolutely obsessed with. And he's still, in my opinion, is one of the cooler Pokemons. Although he's designed more like a Digimon than a Pokemon, I feel like, and that might be influenced in design as well, because he kind of looks more like a Digimon than a Pokemon, you know? Did we get him? Okay, I think we got him. I can't see back there, but I think we got him. But yeah, I absolutely loved that big catcher, the Steel line. Yes, a single fire type would end my team. Yes, they would. Do you stream? Yes, I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on YouTube, exclusively YouTube. I am not on Twitch anymore, so Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can find me here. If I had to catch a single Pokemon team, like if I was doing like a trainer team where you, like a gym badge, I would definitely be a Steel trainer. I absolutely adore Steel Pokemon so much. I feel like they're so underrated. Like Skyzor, Steel Scyther's cool. Steel Nidoking is really cool. Steelix is cool. I've always loved Onix. I've always been mad that Onix gets the short end of the stick. Right? Like, everyone knows Onix is like one of the worst Pokemon ever made. He's such a cool design, and yet he's always absolutely useless. Like, they did my boy Onix so dirty. I wish Onix got a chance to glow in the limelight, because he is so bad in so many games, you know? I just want him to be good. I just want him to have a chance to shine and glow. Alright, it's time. It is time for the what ifs or would you rather scenarios. First one. You're driving in a car on the highway, and you're 15 minutes away from home from the highway, and you see that there is a turnoff on the highway there, and your GPS warns you that there is heavy traffic upcoming. Your GPS tells you that there is 45 minutes of completely deadlocked traffic. So, you know that you can A, stay in traffic for 45 minutes and then do the 15-minute drive home, and you'll get home in an hour, or you can take the turnoff that you're on this exit, and your GPS tells you that the back roads to your house will take you a solid hour to drive to, but you won't have to deal with traffic. So, would you rather sit in traffic for 45 minutes and then be able to drive home in 15 minutes, or take a back road home that is constantly winding and turning and will get you home in the same amount of time, but at least you're not stuck in one place? How old are you? I feel old. Everyone says I am old at heart. I'm actually only 34, but A lot of people accuse me of being way older than I am because I am the kind of guy who goes to bed at 8 a.m. Answer A, Backroads. See, that's where there's. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of varying opinions on this because I'm with Bubble. At least I'm moving. Like, if it's gonna take me an hour either way, I'd rather at least be moving and feeling like I'm making progress rather than stuck in traffic. But I also understand a lot of people like, oh, well, if the traffic's gonna be stuck for 45 minutes, I can just whip out my phone and text some people or watch a couple TikToks and then drive home in the same amount of time. So I'm gonna do that. So I think it really boils down to whether people actually love driving or if they love like getting to destinations, you know. So that's why I feel like there's gonna be a variety of answers to this one. But I'm with Bubble. I would much rather be moving rather than suffer through sitting in traffic. But then again, for a long time, I had to commute to work, and it was an hour to and an hour from work, just an hour-long drive. And then traffic would often make it a 2 or 3 hour drive, like a ridiculous drive. So I have suffered through a lifetime of traffic, and I never want to sit in traffic ever again. I paid my dues. I sat in traffic for what feels like years of my life, so I am ready to no longer have traffic in my life. Where is the console for this? I don't see the computer. I also saw, and I don't know how I feel about this one yet, but I think it's gonna be bad. And I hate to be critical of something before I've even seen it, you know, but I think it's gonna be bad. They are making a new Batman series, and like, don't get me wrong, I love Batman, but we have too much Batman, you know, like we've reached a point where we have too much Batman in our lives. We have too many Batman reboots, too many. I love Batman, but enough with the Batman. But we are getting a new Batman series that is going to be a animated sitcom style Batman show where it's going to be Batman as a father to Damian Wayne as Robin, but instead of Damian Wayne being like the overly dramatic, serious stuff that you usually get with him, they're going to make it like an animated sitcom, funny style, like a comedy style. And that Batman and comedy just doesn't go together to me at all. I understand like the Adam West campy Batman was really popular to some people, so I know that like Batman and comedy does go together for some people, but like trying to make Batman fit into like a facts of life style sitcom just sounds awful, you know? Like I don't feel like that's gonna be good. I do not have high hopes for that one. So we'll see. You know, I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance, but I do not feel like that one is going to be good at all. However, I could be wrong. You know, we did watch the there was that new Superman movie that came out, and so many people told me that was like shockingly good, and I just didn't think it was possible to make a good Superman movie. I have always disliked Superman. I've always been a certified Superman hater, so I gave it zero chance. But so many people said no, the new Superman movie is really good. Give it a chance. So I'm really excited to give it a fair shake. I'm going to give it a fair shake. I've heard Green Lantern is in it a lot, and I love Green Lantern, so we're gonna give it a fair shake when it comes out on like DVD. I'm not gonna pay $20 for it, but when it's like a $5 rental on Amazon, we'll try the new Superman movie. What they need to do, and I know I've said this before, but there is a comic book series called The Darkest Night, and it is a what-if scenario of what if all the Justice League got Green Lantern rings, Blue Lantern rings, Black Lantern rings, all the rings come to Earth. And that is the movie that I feel like we need. Seeing Batman with a Black Lantern ring and Superman with a White Lantern ring and everyone having the Lantern rings, I feel like would be an amazing story to watch. Like, give us that. I've watched half of it. Kiddo didn't like it so much, but the first half was really good. I don't feel like it was made for kids. I definitely feel like it's an overly dramatic, more adult-oriented Superman. It's on Max now? I don't have HBO Max right now. You definitely should try out Mass Effect. Seems right up your alley. I definitely need to get on Mass Effect. That is correct. I have the Game Pass, so I have the whole thing. I definitely should try. I should try Mass Effect. You are right. I should be playing Mass Effect. I agree with that. Call it Lord of the Rings. Do you think they should turn Hal Jordan into Parallax in the DC universe? You know, this is going to be real embarrassing. My nerd knowledge is really bad. I loved the Green Lantern. I couldn't name a single Green Lantern villain or story arc besides Sinestro Corps, so I don't know who Parallax is. I know Hal Jordan is a Lantern. He's not my favorite Lantern, but I know that he's like the default Lantern for a lot of settings. I actually liked the Green Lantern we got in the Justice League animated series. I'm trying to remember what his name actually was now. The African American Green Lantern that was in the Justice League. Who was that in the animated Justice League? I really liked that Green Lantern. I also really like the old style Green Lantern that's like afraid of wood, that wears like the hood and the cape. I like that style of Green Lantern also. Hal is the Green Lantern, the new Superman. Yeah, Hal Jordan is like the default Green Lantern, isn't he? Like, if most people think of Green Lantern, they're going to be thinking of Hal Jordan because he's been in so many different things. But he's not the only Green Lantern. There's been like a ton of Green Lanterns.
Another step towards galactic liberation. You may extract when ready.
Sir Bones, hello, good morning. Alright, we solved that problem. We finished this map? Wow. After playing a few weeks of the missions on the underground planets with like the dragon roaches and you know, the super hive lords, this mission felt like a walk in the park. Like, this one was so much easier when you don't have to deal with dragons flying down on you and underground tunnels destroying you and horrible sand. Like, we dominated this mission. I don't know how they're going to incorporate Hal's character into the DCU since the actor seems to be in his twilight years. Thanks to the magic of AI, we can keep actors acting way into their 90s, right? Didn't they do that with Indiana Jones? Like, who's the actor for Indiana Jones? It's Harrison Ford, I think. Like, they de-aged him digitally for the last couple things of that. So, like, that, I have a feeling that's what they're going to do, is they're just going to AI de-age these actors and force them to work forever. And I know that's been a topic ongoing for a little bit, and now that topic has come back once again of raising the retirement age and just never being able to retire. And like, I'm so torn on it. I want people to be able to retire, right? I wish people could retire in their 40s or 50s and spend half their life just enjoying life and not having to work. But I also get, like, we went to a grocery store yesterday, and there was a little old lady there, probably in her 80s, working at the checkout. And like, every time we go to the movie theater, there's an old lady who works at the movie theater who punches tickets, and she's gotta be in her early 80s as well. So like, they're old. But like, I also understand that a lot of elderly people don't find retirement fulfilling, right? They realize without work, they don't have anything going on in their life, and so they want to go back to work so they can talk to people, get out of the house, you know, have those interactions with people. So I don't want to say people shouldn't work when they're older, right? Like, I understand that may be a choice they want to make, but it should 100% be a choice. And I don't like people talking about like never being able to retire, that you're forced to work until your body physically breaks down, and then you can't, you know? I found a new game yesterday. You should get it on special for $5. Has some replayability. It's called Clone Drone in the Danger Zone. Is it a drone simulator? Like drone flight simulator? I love flying drones, so I would be all over that. And the amount of like Gen Z The amount of Gen Z who I see who have zero retirement, like they're legitimate, like my retirement plan is just to roll over and fall in a grave, like zero money put in retirement is a shocking and scary statistic. There are far too many people who have zero money put away for retirement. They know if they retire, they're going to get sent to a retirement home. It has a story mode, 3D pixel. I'll check it out after stream. And that's a whole other sad conversation, right? Like, you should have hobbies and interests and other things in your life. Like, if I was to be able to retire tomorrow, like if I never had to go back to my day job, I'd go out hiking almost every day. I'd go out playing with my RC car. I would go take photography, videography. I'd be making YouTube videos. I'd be out trying new foods. Like, I would have no end of things that I would go and do. So it makes me really sad when people are like, well, I've retired. Working was my entire personality, so I guess I'll sit in my lazy chair and watch TV because I have no other hobbies, I have no other interests, I have nothing. Like, that's sad, right? Like, people need hobbies and interests. Your personality can't be work, you know? Light Yagami, I hope you are being responsible today. Light Yagami with the Death Note, it took him all of, 2 episodes to go from normal high school age kid to complete sociopath, psychopath in the course of one day. Can you shout out to my cat Peggy? We love cats here, so yes, we can shout out to Peggy. We enjoy a good kitty here. Retirement money isn't just a Gen Z problem. Everyone's poor. He went mad with power. Oh, without a doubt. Light Yagami is 100% the example of going mad with power. He went absolutely corrupt over the course of 2 episodes.
The citizens of this city will thank you.
And I absolutely love the overly dramatic, and I'll take a chip, and I'll eat it. Brilliant. A+ anime writing with that scene. That was the scene to end all scenes. Death Note deserves to be put on the list top 10 best anime ever made. I'm not saying it's the best anime ever made, but Death Note, especially the first half of Death Note, after L is out of the picture, it really falls off hard. But the first season is some of the best anime ever made. Everyone should watch Death Note. I fully stand by that. Same with Full Metal Alchemist. That's not an unpopular, controversial opinion. Full Metal Alchemist is an absolutely incredible journey from start to finish. Everyone should enjoy Full Metal Alchemist at some point in their life.
Well done.
All right, we got some points for doing that. So hopefully we got enough to unlock. We don't have enough to unlock the fun stuff we want yet, but we can play with. I've been waiting to get this. We've been waiting super long to get the expendable napalm. So let's try the expendable napalm on a mission here. Been very, very excited to just try that out. My pug just came up to you, so I go and feed him. Pugs are adorable. I also love pugs. I'm torn on pugs, though. I will say this is going to be unpopular waffles preaching at people time. I love pugs. I think pugs are adorable. I think they're super cute. I do understand why people are against breeding pugs, and I do understand the movement that says that we should stop breeding pugs to be so, disastrous for their own health. And I understand that, and I can say I'm sympathetic and agreeance with the. And I think as a whole, okay. I guess. Let me grab the expendable I want to try, and then we're gonna grab my warp pack, and then we're gonna put on the unpopular opinion. We are gonna start with some unpopular opinions today.
Helipod launch initiated.
We are at a point where our dog and cat pounds are so overbooked, and we're putting down animals by the thousands every month. We have too many animals in the United States. I think we are at a point where we can sufficiently outlaw animal breeding. There should be no dog breeders. There should be no cat breeders. If you want a dog and cat, you go to the pound or you go grab one off the street. I don't think we need people adding to the problems that we have in society of overcrowding of dogs and cats. There are plenty of dogs that are cute, that need a good and loving home available for you in the pound. So I think we are at a point in society where we can stop the animal breeding. And I know that's unpopular because I know some people are like, oh, well, I really want a purebred. Well, I understand you really want that, but is it worth letting all those other animals in the pound pass away because you don't think they're as cute as a purebred golden doodle, you know? I feel like pugs are adorable because we got brainwashed into thinking pugs are adorable. Like, it's okay to say, what abomination. I definitely understand where someone's coming from if they say they feel like pugs are an abomination. There's definitely some flaws with them. That expendable napalm absolutely thrashed. Did you see that? It took out that big dude with zero problems. I might be an expendable napalm fanboy from now on. That was pretty darn impressive. When we got our pug, we did surgery for the spine to make them not be in pain. Poor pug. And that's good. That's good that you did that extra for him, but I know there's a lot of people who wouldn't do that for them. And, you know, we were at Friends of Feline the other day. Friends of Feline said that I can come back and do professional photography for them to help their cats get adopted. I'm very excited to get to do that for them. But I can barely spend any time in Friends of Feline. Like, if I'm being absolutely honest with myself, like the sound of all the cats meowing because they're sad and they just want love and attention. They just want to go to a good home like anyone else. Like, it breaks my heart so bad. I can't spend more than a few minutes in the Friends of Feline area because it's so sad, those cats. I love them so much, and I want to give them all a good home. Patrick, good morning. Kanishk, welcome in. We are playing Helldivers 2 this morning. This is the greatest game of last year, and my personal favorite game of the year still. This is Helldivers 2. Also, an interesting game coming out. I got to play an early access demo. It's under NDA, so I can't talk a whole lot about it. But did you know that Amazon Games is making a MOBA style game, like a League of Legends style game? Amazon is getting their putting some skin in the game, so to speak, and making a mobile game. I think, or a MOBA, not mobile. So I'm really interested to see what they do with that. All right, let's see if a walking barrage can take that base out from here so we can get that annoying turret off of us. Did someone mention League of Legends? Yes, we were talking about MOBAs. I used to be a huge League of Legends player. I'm gonna humble brag for a second. I was really, really, really good at League of Legends. Like, I was at a point where I was playing League of Legends 6 to 8 hours a day because I was in the semi-pro, like, above diamond, going into Masters League, and I thought I was going to go pro. Like, I legitimately thought that I might be a pro League of Legends player. So I was putting in the work and the practice as a Thresh support in Season 3 of League of Legends. And then I realized how much I hated League of Legends, how much it was ruining my life, how much of, like, my real life, my wife, my job, how much of my life I was ignoring to try and be good at League of Legends, and I realized how much of my life I was sacrificing to try and make it, and I quit. I just quit cold turkey. I said, no more. The cost is too high. It's taking way too much of my life. So I just up and quit it. And that is the best decision I've made in my life. And I will give that advice to anyone. If you're still playing League of Legends, your life will be infinitely better if you quit League of Legends. I want to talk God of War. Is it good or should I play it? Which God of War? Are you talking about God of War, the original God of Wars, like 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation? Or are you talking the new God of War Norse series on PlayStation 5? Because there is a difference. The old God of War games are good for what they are, but it's a completely different experience than playing the God of War Norse series. And this is, I'm already wearing my unpopular opinion glasses, so I'm gonna hit you with the unpopular opinion. The new God of War games are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not good. The new God of War games are good, but they're so story focused and the gameplay is so monotonous that I feel like you can get the same experience of playing God of War as you could just Googling God of War Norse movie where someone has gone through and they just stitched together all the cutscenes. I feel like you can get the same God of War experience just experiencing all the cutscenes and watching all the cutscenes as you could like physically going and playing the game. You still should. It is a good game, but I just feel like it's more cutscene than it is actual game. League of Legends needs to be played with caution, definitely. League of Legends, as I said, you'll be happier if you cut it out of your life. 100%. Although I do still occasionally play Heroes of the Storm was Blizzard trying to make a League of Legends style game, and it's very casual, so I do still play that occasionally. Have you ever played Max Payne? Yes, I played Max Payne, the OGs, when they came out in the old days. I love the old slow motion Max Payne games. Those were a lot of fun. I super enjoyed Max Payne. Have you ever played Dota? Yes and no. I tried Dota 2 on Steam, and that was one of the most toxic, gross communities I had ever played with in my life, so I only played one match on Steam. But I was there for Dota back before it was a game. Back when Dota was being played on StarCraft and Warcraft Custom Map Maker, the original Dota, I played so many hours of that. And I prefer it. I think Dota was better when it was a Warcraft mod as compared to a actual standalone Steam game. League of Legends is the most played video game internationally. I don't doubt that for a second. I definitely think it's the most played game, but I would argue doesn't Fortnite... I think Fortnite has it beat, or at least at some times it's probably had it beat, because Fortnite has not only the international appeal, but now they have different game modes. They're bringing people back with like the Zero build and with like the Lego mode and the fake Helldivers mode, and now they got the My Hero Academia mode. Like, I feel like Fortnite might have them beat. Did you ever play those Red Faction? Yes, I played Red Faction, the OG Red Factions on PlayStation 2 when they came out with Destructible Environments. I loved Red Faction, and Red Faction 2 was amazing. In fact, before Half-Life 2 caught on as much as it did, I feel like people talked about Red Faction 2 like they talk about Half-Life 2. Based on its players, it's unbeaten. I haven't checked in a while, so I definitely could be wrong. I just feel like more people are playing Fortnite, which less people playing Fortnite's also a good thing too. I don't want to be a Fortnite hater, but like I don't understand the appeal of Fortnite. I really don't. You know, I've tried it. I like battle royale games. I'm not huge fan of Fortnite. Like the graphics, the gameplay, the children. The surgery you told me about on Friday went okay. Thanks be to God for that. We also, I don't know if Jonathan is still here. I saw Jonathan for a moment. We have also been praying for Jonathan's grandmother. So if you have been joining me for prayers and all of that, do make sure you are including Jonathan, our mod's grandmother. Let the hate flow through you. I have definitely more than once been accused of being a hater. I've definitely gotten my fair share of hater accusations. So, you know, I've learned to live with it. Expendable Napalm, we need you. All right, send him back to the Shadow Realm. As a League of Legends player, you're not a hater. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I have the qualifications to talk bad about League of Legends. Like, if you've never played League of Legends and you hate on it, like, it's one of those things where, like, well, if you've never played it, how do you know you hate it? Like, I've tried it. I've lived it. You know, I was deep in the hate. Like, I was so addicted to League of Legends that my life almost changed forever. So I was working at Wells Fargo, and I worked in the branches. Like, I was in the physical branches of Wells Fargo, and I wanted out so bad. And I had an interview scheduled to go to the call center. And the day of the interview for the call center, I was playing League of Legends in ranked mode, trying to rank up, trying to be serious, and the ranked mode took longer than I thought it was going to be. And so I was faced with a choice. If I leave the ranked mode, not only do I rank down, but I could get banned and not get to continue to do rank mode, or I could skip the interview and just keep my current job and then wait for a different opportunity to escape, you know, the branches I wanted to get out of. And I finally decided, almost too late, that it wasn't worth it, so I left the League of Legends game in the middle of it, lost my promotion match, and went to the job interview, got the job, and that job at Wells Fargo was the worst job I've ever worked. I was so abused. It was a horrible place, absolutely horrible. But those 10 years I spent in that horrible call center helped me to find God. They helped me be a better husband. They forever shaped my entire life. So, like, had I not gone to that interview and just stayed at the branches, my entire life would have turned out differently. League of Legends could have truly 100% changed my life forever had I just decided to stay in that promotion match. For better or for worse, I don't know, but that's where we're at. Can you play War Thunder on stream? No, I don't think so. I don't know why. I suck so bad at any airplane game, Ace Combat, War Thunder, any game where you are flying an airship or a spaceship. I cannot comprehend the mechanics it takes to fly a plane properly. Like, I cannot do it. I've tried so many times, and I cannot grasp flying a plane. Like, the reverse controls, being able to, like, do tight turns to get behind other people. I am simply incapable of understanding what it takes to fly an aircraft. And it's even worse if you're in space and you've got, like, the full three-dimensional. Like, I can't do it. I have tried so many times, and I just cannot grasp those controls. I am the worst dogfighter you will ever see on War Thunder, Star Wars Battlefront, No Man's Sky. Any game with space combat, I am certified the worst space combat person to exist. You do not want me on your team on any of those games. I'm truly awful at them. Game on Roblox got 30 million players in 1 week. That doesn't surprise me. Like, the thing is, like, this game, wonderful game, Helldivers 2, it maxed out around 500,000 players. But that's with, like, a paid game. When a game is free to play and anyone can download it and get it, like, those numbers aren't as impressive because, yeah, it's free, everyone can get it. When you have 500,000 people paying $30 to play a game, that's impressive. When you have World of Warcraft where you have 10 million people who have subscribed to the game and are paying a $15 a month fee to play the game, that's an impressive number. But when it's a free to play, like, I'm less impressed by that. Oh, excuse me, that number. That being said, Roblox definitely has a huge and dedicated fan base. There is no arguing that. They just released a game I wanted to try. They released okay, we need to run. They released a My Hero Academia mode that I really want to play because I am the biggest My Hero Academia fan of all time, and I will fight people on that. But as we talked about, like, I don't support Roblox as a company. Some of the things Roblox has done, I really find questionable and gross. And I don't stream Roblox because my goal is never to attract children to my stream. I think I find it gross how many streamers use children to boost up their numbers and get paid from YouTube and Twitch by convincing children to watch them. I think that's really gross. I don't mind people making content for children. Children need shows like Bluey and Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have no problem with that, but I do take problem with the people who specifically see children as a means to make money. I find that incredibly gross. So I don't play Roblox because I don't want to be a stream that attracts minors, because that is not my audience, and I have no interest in entertaining children. That is not who I am reaching out to. Also, as we've talked about, as a Catholic streamer who is trying to be prominent in the Catholic community and make something of myself in the Catholic community, I have to be very careful because minors and Catholics have had a very, very bad PR, and I don't want to be accused of those things, especially since people on YouTube also have a very bad habit of grooming and being involved in those communities. So I have to protect myself, and a part of that protecting myself is ensuring that my optics are always good. In fact, it literally just happened. I was playing a play-by-post Dungeons and Dragons game with a guy. We were in a group. I made sure everyone in the group was an adult. Everyone was over 30. So, okay, we're all adults sitting in a Discord playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm completely fine with that. The DM randomly said, "Hey, I can't play anymore, but I found a replacement DM for you." They brought in the new Dungeon Master. Everything checked out. He seemed great. And then his final thing was, "Oh, and I hope you are all okay with me being a minor. I'm 16 years old." And I just immediately was like, "Nope, I cannot be in a Discord server with you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm leaving. Bye." Like, I am 34 years old. There is no reason for me to be in a private Discord server talking to someone under 18. Like, that is 100% something that I just don't need in my life. Are pastors grooming children a myth or actually a common occurrence? Okay, so that is a interesting topic that I will tackle a portion with. It is an unfortunate reality that, yes, some people become priests to be able to target children. But that is not a unique problem in the Catholic Church. Any position of power that allows you to be with children is going to attract those people who are going to abuse the position. We have seen, if you look at the statistics, public schools actually have double the rate of incidents than the Catholic Church. If you send your kid to public school, they have double the chance of having an incident than if you send them to a Catholic church. However, people love to hate the Catholic Church, so the Catholic Church is the one that gets piled on the most. But also the Boy Scouts of America, Boy Scouts of America had an absolutely huge problem with that as well. Because again, the problem isn't priests are attracted to children. The problem is that people who are attracted to children are going to seek out positions such as teacher, priest, Boy Scout leader, positions of power over children, because they are smart enough to know that in order to do the things they want to do, they need to be in a position of power over children and have those interactions with the children. So it's not that the church has a problem with it, because the church does. It's as a whole, as a society, we have a problem with people who go out of their way to seek powerful positions over children to abuse those positions. So again, welcome here. Sorry, I was in the middle of a rant. Welcome. It's not a uniquely Catholic problem. Public schools, Boy Scouts, everyone has those problems. So it is a worldwide problem that anytime there is an imbalance of power, people are going to seek out that imbalance of power for their own nefarious gains. That's just simply the human condition, that people are going to see, oh, this position will allow me to be in a room privately with children. I'm going to take that position because I want that power. That is simply how the mind works. It's awful. It's gross. It needs to be condemned. We need to have solutions to it. But it is not a uniquely Catholic problem. However, as I said, there are a lot of people who hate the Catholic Church, and because there is so many optics around that exact scenario with the Catholic Church, we as Catholics must be extra prudent to ensure we are not putting ourselves in those positions to harm the church or the community by having the appearance of doing those things, right? Like if I was a Catholic YouTuber who specifically streamed Roblox because, oh, I wanna preach to the children, there would be a lot of people who would get the ick from me, right? They'd be like, well, why is that Catholic person seeking out specifically children in Roblox, right? That is bad optics. Even if I said that I had good intentions, the optics of that is bad. And so one of the things we do as Catholics is we have to understand that how we are perceived is also very important. So we must be mindful not only of what our intention is, but what our perceptions are as well. Now we can't control what other people think, but there are just things that we can control. For example, I love the Insane Clown Posse. There are a lot of Catholics who would be scandalized by listening to the Insane Clown Posse. There are a lot of Catholics who would disagree with listening to the Insane Clown Posse. So one of the things I can control is I don't roll up into church blaring Insane Clown Posse while I'm going to church, right? I keep it as a personal thing I listen to in my own time rather than forcing it upon everyone else while I'm rolling into church listening to Catch a Predator by Insane Clown Posse, right? That there is optics to both of those scenarios, and one is infinitely better optics than the other. I'm not Catholic. My parents are two different Christian denominations. I have a Jewish heritage, but Catholicism itself is not the problem. It's the people. Exactly. That's all I want people to acknowledge. Yes, the Catholic Church has hurt people. Yes, the Catholic Church has had terrible incidents. But again, no more than the Boy Scouts or public schools. But Catholic churches just get extra hate because people want to dislike the Catholic Church. So it's an unfairness, but it's an unfairness we have to deal with. A lot of people have religious trauma, so they unfairly hold the Catholic Church to a higher impossible standard and then judge it when it fails to meet that higher impossible standard. That being said, could the Catholic Church have handled some of those situations better? Absolutely. Did they drop the ball? Yes. Did popes make mistakes? Definitely. Because we are all human. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. Through my fault, through my fault, through my most grievous fault. Also, since we're on the topic of a religion, I'm just going to continue ranting. The worst place in the world, I firmly believe this, the worst place in the world to learn your Christianity from has to be the Christian subreddit. The Christian subreddit is the worst abomination of theology I have ever seen in my life, because absolutely anyone is allowed to come in there and say whatever stupid thing comes to their mind. And yesterday, holy cow, was stupid things coming to people's mind. Yesterday on the Christian forums, the great debate was Jesus perfect? And there was no small amount of people coming in to say that the reason why they are a follower of Jesus was because Jesus was a flawed person, that Jesus was just as sinful as us, and because he was just as sinful and flawed as us as humans, that is why they liked Jesus. And all I could think is, my dude, you don't understand Christianity at all. Like, this is the rare instance where there's a lot of people who don't understand certain parts of Christianity, right? Christianity is a big, diverse topic with a lot of different things. So I understand and have sympathy for you. There's no way one person can understand Christianity fully. That's why there's the mysteries. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to understanding. I understand if you don't understand everything about Christianity. However, if you don't believe Jesus is God, if you don't believe Jesus was perfect and Jesus was without sin, then that's not just not understanding some of Christianity. Like you don't understand Christianity at all. You fully you've missed the point of Christianity. And that is an impressive feat. With how many missionaries they are, how pervasive the Bible is, how many Bible stories work their way into like children's show and other things, with how much just culture is around the Bible, you would think that they would understand like the basic top level Jesus was perfect, right? Islam is a huge problem now in the UK. Catholics don't look so bad after the grooming gay scandals. There is a lot of news going on in the UK and Islam and all of that, and that is one of those topics that I am not going to touch with a 10-foot pole because I don't live in the UK, so I don't have enough news around it to understand the gravity of the situation. And I think that is a very nuanced and hard conversation, so I do not think I am the right person to have that conversation because I simply don't have the knowledge and understanding of the scenario to be a good, impartial, fair, unbiased understander of the situation. It's the same thing when if you spend any time on Reddit and you go to any of the European subreddits, you will see there is a huge amount of talk about, I'm going to say this word, I disagree with this word, the Romani, that they refer to as the gypsies. And if you spend any amount of time on a UK subreddit and that conversation comes up, that is one of the most varied and sometimes hateful conversations you will ever be involved in. So again, that's one of those things where it's like, I don't live in this culture, so I have no idea why there are so strong feelings about this, but I'm not the right person to talk about it. I have a 13-year-old and I have a 300 kg combine. Know a bit of wrestling and Muay Thai, and I'm a pretty big kid, but I still know I can't do anything against the average size biological male. I know that's one of those, I think that's one of those Hollywood myths. I truly think that like Hollywood movies have trained people to think like Black Widow, right? Let's use Black Widow as an example. Black Widow does not deserve to be on the Avengers team at all. She has no superpowers. She's just a highly trained super agent, and they try and convince us that somehow Black Widow stands a semblance of a chance in a hand-to-hand fight against Steve Rogers. What are you possible? This isn't even like a debate of a man versus a woman. You're talking a literal super soldier versus a trained secret agent. Like you can't convince me that Black Widow belongs on the Avengers. Her superpower is kicking and shooting a gun. Like that's not a superpower. And then you get into the whole like they show like, oh wow, Black Widow with her martial arts can take down guys 10 times her size and literal like demigods flying around. Like martial arts is that powerful, you can use their weight against. No, there is a limit to martial arts, but you can see like sumo wrestling is a really good example, right? Sumo wrestling, weight isn't everything. There does come a point where your technique can outclass somebody's weight and muscle. However, technique alone can't win. If you were to put a 95-pound sumo wrestler in the ring against a 400-pound super toned athlete, no amount of technique is going to allow that guy to win. What is the game? This is Helldivers 2. This is for Super Earth. But they did there was some interesting, like there was a boxing match, I think. There was a boxing match where they put a flyweight against a super heavyweight champion. And I do believe that he won that one by dodging all the blows and running him out of steam. So again, technique can win, but that's if you're following the rules of boxing, right? And this goes back to the whole like when you're following a strict set of rules, definitely technique can help you. But if we're talking a straight up dirty street fight where anything goes, and you're not held back by the rules of the tournament, that is a completely different fight than a boxing match, right? Having two people trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu having a sanctioned martial arts match is a completely different thing than a guy at a bar with like a biker gang and chains versus a guy trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, your martial arts don't work as well if the other person isn't playing by the rules, right? Is that some slang I should know? All right, well, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for hanging out for a moment. I appreciate the well wishes. Y'all are quiet today. I feel like I've been ranting for a while here. Did I lose some of you with my extra long rants today? All right, we got time for one more mission before I have to go do chores and get ready for my day job. I am not excited for the day job today. It is Monday. See, I knew that Unk means uncle, but I thought I've heard it in so many different contexts. So maybe I just don't understand the context. But I thought it just meant like old person, you know, like person who's older than you. I'm out of touch with it. All right, last mission. Let's get the last of these medals. I can accept being an old person. I feel old at heart. Like I said, I'm the only person I know in my age bracket who goes to bed at 8 p.m., wakes up at 4 a.m., and goes bird watching. Like, I fully accept that by that definition alone, I am a old person. All right, let's grab for fun, since we're destroying things, let's grab a spear. Yeah, Patriot suit, anti-tank, and laser. Perfect. Like, the second that I got interested in bird watching, I knew that was it. It's all downhill from there. You never see an 18-year-old with binoculars hanging out at the bird park excited to see a heron. That is strictly an old person activity.
Helipod launch initiated.
All right, so we gotta destroy 10 factories in 15 minutes, and then we're gonna go wash dishes. Last night we tried something new. Dex was here for this, and Dex actually approved of it. So a Dex approved meal from Waffles, mostly because Emmy cooked it. We made naan pizza. We took some delicious fresh naan bread, put a little bit of tomato sauce on it. You know, tomatoes, onion, mushrooms, fake bacon, delicious. I dare say that is the best way to enjoy pizza. I don't think I can go back to regular pizza. I think the naan is just a perfect consistency for pizza. So that is going to be going forward. I think we're just going to have naan pizza. That was such a good idea to have and enjoy. All right, what do we got going on here? There's a lot going on here. I hear that there's whoa, hello. There's some artillery going on. There's a bunch of enemies spawning. And, you know, let's just start with our Patriot suit. Let's call in a mech. We're just going for the mech right to start. Let's get some supplies down here. Oh, come on, Spear. That you should not have missed that shot. There we go. Better. I love the Spear. I know it's not the most effective weapon anymore, but I love the Spear. It is always I've been a Spear enjoyer since it came out. Even when it was absolutely broken, I always believed in the Spear. Is that a tank up there? Looks like maybe a tank. I see a lot of bullets. Maybe not. Nope, that's just citizens getting mowed down. I really do need to, like, this week, I think I really need to sit down and put together my Helldivers 2 Dungeons and Dragons game. I've been talking about it for a while, and I feel like I just need to actually make that a thing. Because I really do feel like Helldivers 2 as a Dungeons and Dragons game will be such a fun endeavor to take on. I really just need to sit down and do it. I've talked about it forever and ever, and now I just need to make it happen. Oh, no, don't. We had a bird nest with chicks in a tree in our yard. My dad had a professional camera and took pictures of them all for 3 weeks since they grew up and flew away. That is super adorable. I think I just saw another flamethrower over here. Yeah. Okay. Take out that Hulk. Okay. Now we can finish this. I love taking professional photos of birds. I just posted, you all should have seen, if you're either on the Discord or my regular YouTube, you probably saw I was posting pictures of Gremlin and Omen. There were some owl ambassadors that came to our local brewery, and I got to take some professional photos of some owls, and those shots turned out absolutely gorgeous. Those owls were absolutely wonderful, and I think Omen and Gremlin are the cutest names I've ever heard for owls. So I love professional bird photography. I will do that all day, every day. There's another camera that just came out, though, that I really want to get. Fujifilm just released they call it the half shot, and it is a vertical camera that takes photos digitally but alters them in the camera to look like film. So it looks like a fun toy camera. The problem is, I acknowledge that it is a for fun, not professional camera. So I get that you're not going to get the full experience with that. I'm okay with that. However, they're charging $800 for the camera. And while I don't mind paying a fair price for a camera, I have a lot of different cameras and I enjoy a lot of different cameras. $800 for what is essentially a toy is way too steep. Like I've talked about so many times, we have people who can't afford to pay the rent. We have people who are starving. We have so many problems in the world right now. Like, how do I possibly justify spending $800 on a toy while my neighbors are starving in the streets? You know, like, that's such a hard thing to do. If the camera was $100, I could swing $100 for it for a fun thing in a heartbeat. But $800 for a toy is just so absolutely steep. So I'm hoping that I can maybe find one used once someone's purchased it and realized that it is fully a toy and not actually like a good camera. I'm hoping that maybe the used market will be kind to me and I can find some used. Katarina, thank you for the sub. Welcome. Plus, like we've talked about, Emmy and I are really talking about this year trying to make it to Italy next year. So if I'm trying to make it to Italy, I can't drop $800 on a toy camera if we're going to try and make a pilgrimage to the Vatican. So I have to be really good for a long time to be able to make it if we're going to be able to afford an Italy trip. However, I did do the math. I have 7,000 and something subscribers. So if every subscriber watched my videos, if every subscriber went through and watched my video or donated $1, we could do Italy. But I am not going to ask every subscriber to send me $1. I don't think that's how subscribers work. But I do want to pay for part of the trip through the money I make through YouTube. Just y'all watching me live on stream and y'all watching my videos. I get the passive ad revenue, and that definitely will pay a chunk of Italy, and that is such a cool. I can't tell you how cool that is. Jonathan's here. Time to just chill and watch you stream. I don't know if you heard, we did talk a little bit about you. I was reminding everyone we are doing prayers for your grandmother. We have included your grandmother in our prayers, and we are continuing to pray for your grandmother as you had asked. So I want to make sure you knew we have not forgotten about that. We are doing that. But it is so cool that I stream and talk about Catholicism, and that streaming and talking about Catholicism may legitimately pay for my trip to go on a pilgrimage to the Vatican and see, all the basilicas and pillars of our faith, all the history of our faith in Italy. And that is such a cool experience that talking about Catholicism here might actually pay the bills for me to be able to go and experience Catholicism in its truest form in Italy. That is such a cool thought to have. And hopefully, I am shooting a documentary-style video that will be coming out hopefully in 2 weeks at the end of my fast on the 27th for the Feast of the Archangels. I will be finishing up that video, and I'm hoping that will not only spark a conversation around Christianity, but also help pay for the trip to Italy. I really appreciate it. I'm sure she's thankful as well. I try and make it a point. There's two things when it comes to prayer that I cannot stand. And I know that is a terrible thing to say as a Christian. So hear me out on this one. Because I understand that the optics are bad on them. There are two things I cannot stand in Christianity. One, when someone says, "I'll pray for you," derogatorily. Like, I cannot stand when people do the whole, "Oh, you're a Wiccan? Well, I'll pray for you." Or, "Oh, you're a pagan? Well, I'll pray for you." Like, the looking down on you and using prayer as a weapon. Like, "Oh, I'll pray for you because you're so wicked and evil and I'm so good that I'm just such a better person for you. I will pray." I hate when people use prayer as a weapon. That disgusts me. The other thing I hate when people do with prayer is when they use it as a way to end a conversation and they have no meaning for it, and they use it as an excuse to not do anything else. We should pray for everyone. I have no disagreement with that. We should definitely pray for someone. But when there's a news article and they say, "Oh no, the local school has run out of money and these children aren't going to be able to eat for a week," and people use it as an excuse to not do anything. They hear, "Oh no, the local school needs some money. I could donate money so those children could eat, or I could just say, 'Oh, well, I'll pray for you.' And now I'm absolved of any responsibility to the situation." If you genuinely can't afford it, then great, pray for those people, do what you can. But I know there's a lot of people who use prayer as a way to escape responsibility. They say, "Oh, well, I could donate to the school and help those starving children out, but instead I'll just pray for you." And that's the end of it. They use it as this magical absolving of, "Oh, well, if I say I'll pray for you, then I don't have to actually do anything to solve the problems," when we are called to solve the problem. So those are the two things I cannot stand when it comes to prayer, is people who use it as a weapon and people who use it as an excuse to not actually do anything about the situation. That's where the whole gun control debate is a problem, right? When everyone says, "Oh, well, there's all these mass shooting and all these children are getting shot in school, it's terrible, I'll pray about it." that's great. We need to pray about it, but also we need to do something to fix the problem, right? We can't just keep saying, "Oh, we'll pray for all these children getting shot." Like at some point, action needs to be taken, right? And I feel like so many people just absolve themselves of it by saying, "I'm praying about it, so that's good enough." If I could pay for your entire trip to Italy because you honestly really deserve it, I'm really happy to be part of this community. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I understand no one can pay for that on their own right now, right? Like I said, there's so many people who can't afford rent right now. They can barely afford food. Like, I 100% understand money is tight right now. So even getting to go to Italy is a huge privileged situation because there are people who can't even afford the rent or food. So I understand, like, it's a dream for a reason. Here in Europe, it's really nice that you get about 800 euros. It's about $900 to $1,000 of free healthcare. We have higher taxes. I would 100% be on board for paying higher taxes if that meant everyone got the health care that they deserved. I have no problem with that. I want everyone to have health care. And I know, especially in America, that can be seen as a radical opinion, and I don't care if it's labeled as a radical opinion. I think every person, regardless if they can afford it, regardless if they have insurance, should have access to health care. People should not be dying in the richest country in the world of preventable and treatable diseases and illnesses simply because they cannot afford it. Part of the reason why I lived with my hernia for so long was money. I was afraid of, would this bankrupt us? Lived in constant pain because I was afraid that it would bankrupt people. That shouldn't be happening in America. $800 per month, so almost no one is homeless. That's another thing, you know. And this is also a delicate and hard conversation we have with the church, and I struggle with it a lot of times. Like, my church put in a new parking lot. They spent like $500,000 on a new parking lot so we could have more people coming to church. I want more people to come to church, and I'm glad that our church is so big and that there's so many people who want to come to church that we needed an additional parking lot. But I can't tell you how much I struggle with, well, why do we need the convenience of a nicer parking lot when we have people in our community who are living on the streets, when there are people in our community who can't eat right now? Like, is a parking lot that important? And we have a lot of those conversations, and it's a really hard conversation. It was the same thing with a church hired me to do photography and drone photography of them building a part of the new church. They paid me $800. That was a fair wage, and they should pay a fair wage. But also, should the church have paid $800 to a drone pilot, again, when people are starving? It's a hard conversation. I don't know that there's a right answer one way or another. I want to thank everyone for their prayers. I can't explain with words how thankful I am. I wish we could do more, but I also understand that there are certain situations where there literally is nothing more we can do, right? There comes a time where we have to understand that we as humans are limited, and literally there's nothing more that we can do, and it truly is in God's hands now. Like, there are some situations we have to accept that we cannot change. That is very hard to accept as humans. One man lived and extracted from that horrible planet. That is a win for democracy.
You will forever be remembered as heroes of this metropolis.
All right. Well, that is it for me today. Like I said, I have to go do chores and get ready for my work day. I dread Mondays because I never know how many emails I'm going to have of problems that arose over the weekend. I think that's the worst part about Monday, is the first 10 minutes when you log in and you're opening up 50 different emails from, hey, this broke, and hey, this went wrong, and hey, this is an emergency you need to handle. And that is without a doubt the worst part of Mondays, I feel, is that dread of how many emails are going to be in my inbox, how many problems am I going to have to solve, how many meetings got scheduled that I have to deal with. That is the worst part of Monday, without a doubt. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. What do you do? I can't talk in depth about what I do because my job is very, 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 very PC liberal, left wing. And if they heard some of my opinions that I have shared as a Catholic, I would lose my job without a doubt. So I can't talk in depth about what I do. I can share as a general overall. I work in investigations. I investigate things as an overarching what I do, but I can't be more specific than that because I fear the day will come where someone will join my stream and hear my opinion and dox me and tell my workplace, and I will lose that job. It's a good job. I don't like that I have to live in fear of that, but I'm not going to live in fear of that. You know, one of the things we talk about a lot in our faith is not living in fear, right? We are a testament of the faith, and we are living of the faith. And if I have to face repercussions for being a Catholic, then so be it. That will be my cross to bear. I hope I don't ever have to, but if I have to, then if that's the reality, that's the reality, right? So. All right, let's end, as always, with our prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Today, we continue to pray for healing. We pray for all those who are sick, all those people who are struggling, either it be physical, mental illnesses, whatever that weakness, illness, sickness may be. Lord, help them. Especially, we keep Jonathan's grandmother in our prayer for recovery. We pray for all those who don't have enough, all those who are struggling with food insecurity, shelter insecurity, whatever they are lacking. Lord, help us, the brothers and sisters in Christ, to see those needs in our community and do something about it. Help us to be more generous with the gifts you've given us, to be good stewards of this earth and our fellow man, and provide them with the food and shelter that they need. We continue to pray for the souls in purgatory, the souls who've been forgotten, the souls who have no one left. Lord, help them. Help to bring them into heaven. And finally, we pray for the victims of violence, whether it be mass shootings, political violence, whatever it may be. Lord, be with all the victims of violence, all those who are scared, all those who have lost loved ones. Lord, help them. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, everyone, that does it for me today. Have a wonderful and blessed day. I will be back at it on Wednesday morning. Hopefully a new video coming out tomorrow from Catholic Game Review. So if you follow me over at Catholic Game Reviews, I'll have a new video coming up soon for that one. Until then, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you on Wednesday morning.